Soft Machine, third. Soft Machine came out of the Canterbury scene. They originally had an Australian guitarist called David Allen, who was forced to leave because of visa problems. He became well known as the founder of Gong. My interest in the Soft Machine was peripheral to my interest in Gong. Kevin Ayres was the original Soft Machine bass player. He became moderately successful as a solo act. Mike Ratledge was the keyboard player, and the drummer was Robert Wyatt, who also became a fairly successful solo act. Soft Machine made quirky psychedelic music on their first two albums, but it was their third album that was groundbreaking, with 4 tracks over 4 sides of vinyl. A characteristic of their sound was the keyboard played with heavy fuzz. This would occur as a solo instrument and as reinforcement to the horn and woodwind parts. It is very much a sound of the times and has not aged well. By the time of this album they had a new bass player and some horn and woodwind players. The first track is partly live. It starts very noisy, but it is mostly made up of horn and woodwind parts, rather like Zappa and the Mothers were doing at the time. Also like the Mothers, it has a recurring chord riff that is not that dissimilar to Louie Louie. The horn parts are held together by the kind of jam that Miles Davis was doing at the time, and there is a section where the tape has been cut up and reassembled backwards. It is occasionally very exciting, but also occasionally a bit tedious, but that is true for most of this album. The second track is a jazz rock piece featuring their then sax player Elton Dean. The fourth track is a jazzy jam sounding a bit like Caravan, who were the other main band from the Canterbury scene at the time. It has the kind of keyboard vamp and arpeggios in odd time signatures often favoured by progressive bands. And it has more Mother's Reinvention type horns. But it is the third track that originally got my attention. At the time I had not been particularly interested in anything I had heard from Soft Machine, maybe because at the time I liked guitars and had no interest in jazz. One night John Peel announced he would be playing some Soft Machine and I taped it anyway. It was a BBC session recording of the third track on this album, Moon in June. A large part of it is pretty much Robert Wyatt playing solo. I totally fell for his high-pitched reedy singing voice and the humour in his lyrics. It is remarkably tuneful, though not in any kind of obvious way. It features his characteristic stream of consciousness lyrics and scat singing. It also has comparatively powerful and melodic composed sections, as opposed to a lot of the dreamy noodling on the rest of the album. If the other 3 sides were pioneering jazz rock, then Moon in June is one of the earliest and best sidelong prog rock epics. It is only let down by poor recording quality, and I may still prefer the more concise and better sounding BBC version. Soft Machine, third.